and my brother Fred was down there, and so I came out, and we were just chilling a little bit, and it was so nice, and I appreciate the hospitality, and got a chance to talk with them, and ask some questions, and it led to us getting an opportunity to come here, talking to this gentleman here on the phone, and talking to you on the phone, and then combination of people. I want to say this, that our people perish because of lack of knowledge. And we've been blessed, but we're only blessed to be blessed. And so we want to share some information with you tonight, and hopefully the information will be able to allow us to serve the people that you know, the relationships that you have, because I'm on a crusade, okay? My crusade is to make sure that brown people get the right information so that we can increase our families and our families' net worth. We live in a capitalistic society called America, and if you don't have finances, you're just with problems and challenges. And so we entered into an industry many, many years ago, and God blessed us. And I've had the privilege and pleasure to work with my brother Fred for the last 27, 28 years. He went to Savannah State. And when he finished college, he explained how he was coming to work with me. And his conclusion was, you make all the money. And we've been working together for decades. He's a national trainer for the largest file expense company in the nation. And he does a phenomenal job of helping support and sharing. His name is Fred Hawkins. This is my son, Corey Hawkins. He's a graduate, retired football player, college football player for Coastal Carolina University. And when he finished college, I didn't know anything else for him to do than to come to work with our company. People asked me, well, what if you want to do something different? What if you don't want to do this? Now, if he was a physician or a surgeon or a high-powered attorney, I could understand that. But there's no better place for him to work than with family business. Does that make sense? And so both of these gentlemen over here are totally financially secure, both of them are millionaires, and we have a story to tell. The purpose tonight is I want to thank you all y'all for y'all's business in advance. Okay? I appreciate you listening. The second reason I'm here is I'm looking for people that are looking for a career. I'm looking for people that want to find out about this industry. And it may not be no one in here, but you may know someone. That a lot of you all have had the privilege and honor of being able to retire and get a pension. But a lot of jobs today don't offer pensions. There's a 401k, there's a 403b, there's a 457. And this is statistics and factual. By over the next 25 years, the net worth of African Americans will be zero as an average. The net worth of the African American female today is $16. That's the net worth. We have succumbed to the Hispanic market based on income averages. They're $10,000 ahead of us. We're in the average of $49,000, they're $59,000. What's happened is, in the Asian market, they come in and buy up real estate, the big buildings. In the Jewish community, the Dallas stays in their community, 21 and 8. And they work together within their families. In the Greek community, they own restaurants. In the Indian community, they own convenience stores and they own hotels. And a lot of times they start out in communities and small hotels and motels, and then before you know it, they got Hampton in the Holiday Inn. Look on the side of the building, you'll see their faces. The question I have for you all, okay, what do you know? They've just taken away the affirmative action. So as a people, we went in a different trajectory. We went into education. We went into the military. We got degrees. We got advanced degrees. And now that's sliding backwards on us. Because you have a degree and they call you overqualified. You have a PhD and they still cut back on the employment. And so I know the solution to the problem is education. If I were to ask you all in here tonight, what's your most valuable asset? What would you say? Your life? Your mind? Your time? Your mind is close. Time is, what is it? Okay, what about you? You're right. It's your heartbeat. If your heartbeat stops, the most valuable asset is no longer here. You can still not have your mind, and you can still be here. There's a lot of people here. There's a new drug that came out for acid reflux that people take it, watch the news, they say, God, that gives you dementia. Okay? And so it's really your heartbeat. We get it all pumped up and excited. What's the guy just got a big contract the other day from playing football? He gets a big contract.
With the Celtics?
I don't know.
No.
Say, what do you do? 8 million basketball players, they get big contracts. There's a guy got a soccer contract for $1 billion. I don't know who he was. Y'all saw that? Well, those are contracts that they get. In America, there's a law called 7702 of the Internal Revenue Code. That law allows for you and I, okay, to leverage our heartbeat for X amount of dollars. Whatever we leverage it for, when those funds come available to our families, there's no tax involved. Okay? There's no taxes. And we haven't been taught how to do that as an investment. There's a book called What the Rockefellers Do. That book, it shows you how the Rockefeller family, even today, still give away over $50 million a year. It takes care of over 2,000 families. They invested in that rule of 7702. They invested in that. The Vanderbilts, one of the richest families in the world, they didn't. And the gentleman now with the blonde hair, he's the son, heir apparent. Gloria Vanderbilt died a couple years ago. Anderson Cooper, he's worth $150 million. Okay. A lot of that he earned on his own right. But the Rockefellers are super rich. And they use a concept that you may have seen on the internet and Instagram called Be On Bank. Okay? And that's just kind of a marketing tool because it doesn't work unless you have a lot of resources, a lot of finances. And so what we would like to do with every single person that's here is to meet with you, be able to provide some benefits for you, educate you and help you get the right information. And you may not take advantage of all the things that are necessary for you to do, okay? But once you know, you can work in that direction. But it's just not about you. It's about you taking that information and then sharing that with other people that you come in contact with. And some people say, man, I don't know about it in my business, okay? Oprah Winfrey said a long time ago on the national TV show, she said, if you don't have $1 billion, you don't have a business. And that eliminates a whole lot of people. So if we don't work together with information, how do we win? We've been preached to, and we've been prayed on. But how do we win like that? So I'm taking you a couple of slides. I'm going to have a drawing, and then I'd like to be able to have an opportunity for us to set up some appointments to see you all. Now, I won't be necessarily back to do those appointments unless we do some advanced planning, and then I'll be back, okay? But Fred works in Savannah, Georgia. We run business over Brunswick, and we have clients here who work with Corey works over here in this area. But what I would like to do is that for all of you all that are in charge of different organizations is come back and give a presentation to as many people as we need to get the information out. I just finished publishing a book and I'm going to give a few of these away. It's called Chasing Retirement, Finding Freedom. And I thought, I thought the whole idea was being retired. My dad retired, so I was made out military. He died about 1.5 years ago. My brother's a veteran, okay? And so I thought that was what you were after. But once I surpassed all the money stuff, I realized it had nothing to do with the time, it had to do with food. And you all experience some freedom that a lot of people don't, because you're able to get on a 30, 40, 50,000 motorcycle and go across town and across the state. And others can't do that. So you're the legal for people, okay? But there's so many people that's in this space that don't take advantage of a lot of statistics that make it interesting to do different things. So that's the site. You can QR code it and get a copy of the book. It's about building relationships. I have 3 people in my life that are mentors. One is an early mentor. He's 10 years older than me. He shows me work with people he helped me. I've been here for 37 years. And this is one for my son. I have another daughter. She's a doctor of physical therapy. We have 2 grandkids. His wife is Kinsey. My daughter's not married. And Larry Griffin is one of my mentors. He still works with me. And he's rich. Financially rich. The other gentleman is my pastor. It's Bishop Herbert Bailey. We just finished a $17 million church in Columbia, South Carolina, that we started building in the middle of the pandemic. And y'all know churches have changed. The guys blessed us in a major way. And that's my spiritual mentor. My business mentor, Dr. Ted Nixon, I've known him for probably 30 years. I went to him about 15 years ago and asked him, could I serve him? And I just finished a 2-year school life ministry class, so I knew what I was asking. And after some days and some weeks and lots of hours us meeting together, he said yes. And he said, you gotta stop doing what you're doing full time and do this business, okay? And so I was making, that was 2009, that was a bad year. 2009, in the economy, the market went kind of crazy. I made $390,000. That was a down year. I was making almost $500,000. And so I seek this out. And so he said, we gotta come in, you gotta go full time. And we went in this full time, and I went and told the people about doing this and had relationships with, and we built a phenomenal business. Today, I came to do this business to make a 7-figure income and make $1 million a year going on vacation. I told you that the first day. It took me about 7 years doing this kind of business. Final expense, self-investment. You get your 7-figure income. We vacation about 3 months out a year. My wife is a travel agent, and we get it in, okay? And she put it on the schedule way in advance, and not plane tickets and, condos. And so we did a lot of travel. But once I got there, it really wasn't about that. It was about how can I help people. And so today, we have a 7-figure residual income. Now he did it, and I'm not boasting or bragging, but I have to tell the story because so many of our people don't know what that's like. You see the people on TV, you see the superstars, but we're the people integrated into the community that's telling that kind of story. So, the houses and the cars and the Rolexes and the suits and the trips, all the trimmings, all that stuff comes with it. But I want to find the people that I can introduce and let them know that if you find yourself a coach, an advisor, a consultant, a mentor, and if you follow what they're telling you to do, and I know a lot of these military successful people know that, I don't have to go around the curve. If I get a mentor, they'll come to exactly what I'm supposed to go. I'm going to give you a lot quicker. Now, what the mentor is going to tell you ain't going to sound like that you want to hear, okay? Because a lot of it you haven't been with before. And so I just say to you all, please give us an opportunity to serve you in a major way, and then we'll be happy and we'll help more people. Okay? Is that fair enough? Okay. I'm gonna walk through the short presentation. Fred, you want to make a comment before I get started, and then we'll come back in.
Just appreciate you all for taking time to invest in your own knowledge, for your own community, and like I said, it's my father. He looked like him, a little taller than him. And I tried to reach some haircut. I might have to go bald. Summertime is hot. But I appreciate everyone on the road as a motorcyclist. I have a 2-year-old son at home. We got a little tricycle. We want to get a motorcycle. one day. And my gentleman here, me and you connect with the dogs. This is what I do full time. Retired college football player. The NFL contract wasn't big enough. The opportunity here is bigger and better because I serve people. One thing we can't do when we pass away, we can't come back. We can't come back and help our family. And our family look at us and say, well, how do you, if the family had to look at you and ask you, well, how do you feel? How do you feel with leaving your family with whatever you're going to leave with? How do you feel? My grandfather left me with a truck. You know, he left all of my family with a great legacy. And that's the biggest thing that I'm understanding and learning as a man to provide for my family. What am I going to leave? Because we all gonna leave here. It's not an option. We don't have an option. But what we do when we're here, that is the option that we do have. And I'm just glad to be each and every single one of you. Look forward to working with each and every single one of you and see how we can connect and move forward in the future.
Good afternoon, I'm Fred Hawkins. Of course, he already mentioned I was brother. I went to the University of Savannah, Sassy, America, and like that. I had the fortune and privilege of playing 3 years of football with Shannon Sharp, a good friend. But realized something when I got to school. I wasn't that good. Them jokers were good. To be honest with you, good enough to make a team, and playing started a couple things, but man, it was another level. So as he said, I played around at nightclub, all that kind of stuff while I was playing ball in school. But when I got out of school, I said, look, I evaluated the situation, I did this match made, and I said, look, my brother make more money than everybody else I know. All up, now I'm working with you. And it's got, so 47 years later, I'm still here. And it's been absolutely truly a blessing. When we say we financially independent, he was being very modest about himself. That 7-figure company income comes, whether you get out of bed or not. Or whether anybody else on his team, he can go to work, he still come in every month. Very modest. But we out here to help people, and that's how the conversation really started with these brothers here, about making sure we show our people how to leave a legacy, as Corey said, for their family. One of the things I talked about in Savannah, Georgia, now you can probably relate this because we were in Savannah, Georgia, you were 38th and Bull. Anybody know about that? Now, when I was in college, we was able to rent one of those houses on 38th Street, and 38th right here, 2 houses over. Me and the gentleman that's from Savannah, Edwin Ford, rented that house. When we rented it back then, it was all African American. Everything. Today, the cheapest house on that street is about $650,000. The highest is $1.7 million. And guess who don't live there anymore? None of them. Now, those houses are probably all owned by us. We lost those houses, and we're losing. That's why net worth will be zero in 2053, because we give it all away. And we give it all away because we don't get all the right knowledge to help us win. If you have the right information, make some decisions, subtle changes can change that trajectory. So if you got yourself together, our mission is to help as many people as you possibly can. What do we do if we don't? We talked to the brother and we said, somebody's, and I'm not saying who it is, somebody today is driving a $30,000 bike. But the good Lord lay him down. He ain't got nothing to leave this family. Now how do you do that? So we just here to educate and talk. Hopefully be able to serve. Thank you, brother.
And I will tell you that the majority of the population is not present against black folks or Hispanic folks. But they're capitalistic society, and they go after the money. And to be honest with you, the majority of our marketplace does not qualify to even go on your radar. One of my good friends owns the third, fourth largest broker dealer in America, and it's in Georgia. The owner's name is Ron King. And he coached me through this business for years. Read my book, I think I talked about it. I was at Salk Institute back in the 90s. And in the 90s. And we were up in the mountains, California. And this is when AIDS first came out. Okay? And they came out all over the place. And that year, we were at a planned giving conference. There was about 11 people in there. And I was only black. And they had given $5.7 billion collectively to the Humane Society, the dogs and cats. Okay? And there are a lot of people that get real rich and they don't necessarily leave all the wealth to their children. They make sure the kids are okay, but then they leave the money away so they don't have to pay as much tax. Okay? And so the advisors are the ones that say, well, why don't you give it to this place and this place? Well, I had an attitude that day because I want to know why they didn't give them much to UNFC. Okay, I'm fine recommend. And one of the gentlemen knew me with the same firm. Before they asked the question, he said, let me address that. And so he said, yeah, he said, you make a good living. Back then, $300,000 a year. He says, there was a family in your community during the holiday time, Thanksgiving and Christmas. You didn't give them anything. You didn't help them out. You didn't go make sure they had a good Christmas and good turkey, good meal for that particular day. I said, what you talking about? I said, man, you did our church, you did our community, my parents, catering to give food away. He said, no, there's a family that you didn't help. I said, what do you mean? I said, I didn't know about it. He said, it's not that they're prejudice, but when there's no representation, when there's no advocating, and nobody talking about it, they don't even think about it. So what the black or white thing is you never pay attention to it. Same thing happened when I was at one of the companies I worked with, and we were over in Iowa. And we were doing a lot of business. And we go to the home office, and there ain't no black people in the home office. So I'm talking to the president, and I said, oh, I got a problem. This big old cafeteria, that y'all know it's cold up there, so we don't need to gravitate to cold weather. Okay? I said, where the people at? They said, what do you mean? I said, where the black people at? I'm here doing business with the company. I have an organization. I bring business to the company. Y'all make profits off it. Y'all need to employ some people look like me at the home office. This is what he said. He said, they don't apply. I said, they didn't apply to go to the Iowa basketball team, the football team either. But you got one there because we just came from a game, I must say, I went back, I go back every 90 days. When I went back 90 days, he never said nothing to me. But as I walked in that cafeteria, there was color all over the cafeteria. And so I commented to him afterwards. I said, man, oh, you black people? He said, yeah. He said, we took your advice. We contacted colleges and told them we need to get some people in our school. And we paid them a fair salary. He said, and you know they came here. He said, thank you. So it's not all the time black and white. It's a lot of times there's no representation. Does that make sense? So lack of knowledge is fair. Go on with this real quick. Life is great, and y'all know what this is. This is a hot air balloon, right? And this balloon is wonderful. I like small graphics. I like to keep things simple, okay? But as complicated or as sophisticated as you want to be, we can go there. But it means that we expect that we was country for shame. That's something that could drop. Okay? Unless you speak German, you don't know what I'm saying. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean you're ignorant, okay? You just have been exposed to the language, right? Okay? And a lot of times there's a different language being spoken. So when it comes to financial situations, it's a different language. And guess what I found out? People won't sit down 5 or 6 or 7 hours over the course of a week or 2 weeks to get the financial house in order. And so if you don't sit down, if you're not coached in what to do, you become part of this system that they spend. How many of you got a mortgage? Have a mortgage. Okay? Have a mortgage. How many of y'all have a car payment? Motorcycle payment? How many of y'all have credit cards? Why? Why do you have those things? Because wrong, no, you don't want them. You've been conditioned to have it. Does that make sense? You've been conditioned to have it. Okay? Well, there's a whole lot of people that don't have those things. So you see all these wealthy people and they say, hey, they ain't paying no tax. How do they have no pay no tax? They have no personal expenses. So everything they have is business expenses, so they have no basis for personal income. Or they never draw income. Michael Jackson, before he died, they talk about how broke he was, right? He owned the rights to the deal, right? And Paul McCartney got upset with him because he couldn't outbid him. Y'all remember that? The reason why they called him broke is because he took the catalog, he bought $500 million against it. When you borrow money, how much taxes is there doing? There's no tax on borrowed money. You understand that, right? He had a 5-year note with the bank, and when his bank was up, they had a loan to call all business loans up for 5 years, okay, when they do business. And so he took the catalog and went from Bank of America back then to, I think, another bank, First Union, whatever. But the catalog had went up, but when he bought it, it had went up by $800 million. So guess what he did? He renewed his loan and had that bank to pay $500 million and then borrowed another $500 million from that bank again. He didn't pay no tax. Okay? He's the highest paid dead entertainer in the world. He's made something like $1.7 billion since he's been gone. Okay? Understanding how to use this system. Okay? Donald Trump, I'm not a fan of him at all. However, with him and DeSantis, I think I pick him. Okay? At the end of the day, this is the deal. Okay? Dave Chappelle got on the show and said, I never thought about this. Donald Trump said, they said, you didn't pay no taxes. He said, yeah. Don't get mad at me because I'm smart. That makes me smart. Okay. He way out left here. But ignorance of information is not an excuse. And if we don't learn, then they don't learn. That's how the other challenge is. If we don't learn, our children don't learn. Okay? He told you he wasn't the smartest kid in class. You understand that? But he's able to finish school. Okay? He's a millionaire because he got some different information. He got different information. He got different information. So because he got different information, he can parlay that information to his other colleagues. Okay? So it's all about getting the right information. So life is great, but this is good. Look at this. There's some things, life is good, but there's taxes, there's debt, there's interest, there's mortgage, there's education. And if one of these dark cities blooms, you know what happens to the bloom? Okay? It deflates. Okay? There's risk in inflation. We've experienced that. We saw everything with the pandemic, we saw everything going like crazy, right? I mean, going like crazy. I mean, stuff actually doubled the triple. Okay? There's something called long-term care. Okay? The long-term care, people live longer, and you may be careful. You don't have to not retire from the military, you have to stop. You may not have a place to go. And some of those places are not that exciting. They don't live that good, but they're very expensive. There's something called probate. Y'all know what probate is? When you die, they take all your stuff and they determine, what's what, and determine who gets what, and they charge you 4 or 5% of your estate. So if you got $1 million estate, they're going to charge you a $5 to $7 million estate. Okay? Plus, it's public knowledge. So if somebody says, no, that's my daddy, okay? The attorney says, yeah, come on, tell me about the story, okay? It can be not true, but the attorney's getting paid so much per hour, and he gets paid first, or she gets paid first before the estate settles. Does that make sense? So everybody in America that has a child or has a home should only live in trust. What does the live in trust do? It allows me to avoid probate. What does it do? It allows me not to be sued for anything. It allows me to qualify for all benefits and become available, because when they ask me what do I own, I don't own nothing. My trust owns everything. Now as a trustee, I control it, but I don't own anything. Does that make sense? So now I qualify for all benefits that are necessary for me, okay? And then of course, final expense is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so what we do is we show you how to use final expense to protect all your other assets, all your other insurances, because if money would bring you back, Michael Jackson Elvis would still be alive. It just doesn't work like that. So we want to make sure that everybody has a final expense program so that they protect their money, okay, from going to the funeral home director. Have you ever seen a broke funeral home director? Come on in, sir. How you doing? Good to see you. No. I have some of those my consultant clients. But down here at the bottom, we have an insurance agent, you have a stockbroker, you have a real estate agent, an attorney, an accountant, and you have a doctor. And all these professions do a good job of what they do. But most of them are just transactional. When you go to the next level, there's a level called a trusted advisor. What the trusted advisor does is takes into consideration all these things for what you're trying to accomplish. As an example, you have a primary doctor, okay? And you go see the doctor. Well, when something's wrong that you need a specialist, you just can't go to the specialist. You have to go to the primary doctor that he has to see to the specialist. Why is that? I already know it's wrong with me. He knows it's wrong with me. Let me go to the specialist. Because something that you may be taking at the primary doctor's office, there's a cure for it at the specialist, but what he gives you might kill you. So what happens with the trusted advisor relationship, they're able to evaluate all these things and see what's necessary for you to be in the best possible position. See, it's not how big the power is, it's what the power will give after tax. Does that make sense? Or what the power will throw off. So somebody can say, well, man, I'm a millionaire. That sounds good in the shower, okay? But if all you have is $1 million and you are getting 4%, 3%, 4% of your money, that's $30,000, $40,000 a year. You got to pay taxes on it, right? That's right. But guess what? If you just have $1 million, then you're very poor millionaire, okay? Because once you start spending into more than $30,000, $40,000 a year, the money starts to evaporate. Does that make sense? And so we want to be able to teach information so that all these things get protected, and we deal with one client at a time, okay? And we know that most people won't receive it because it's a part of a bit of information, so we do like Jesus. We dust out the dark, and we keep moving, okay? But it's critical for us, the ones that catch hold to it, to tell everybody, okay? Who are you planning for? Who's in your nest egg? Is your spouse, your children, your church, your charity? Well, there's a place where people die, and they say, well, the go-to people in the family, they come ask them for money, okay? You didn't plan on taking care of somebody that you were not budgeting for. Does that make sense? But because you've done well, they expect you to put out your credit card, your checkbook, and meet the needs of somebody else. Well, it's important to tell those people that are not in your nest egg, hey, Jimmy, I'm not going to pay for your stuff, okay? No, I'm telling you up front, okay? So we can do something about it right now. I don't have a problem saving $10 or $15, $20 a month for a program for you, okay? But I'm not going to write a $15,000 check with you when you know the day you're born, you're going to die, okay? And so we're not going to deal with that. Does that make sense? And so we have to make sure people know that, hey, look, you're not blessed. I don't back up on it. I'm rich. God's blessed me, okay? I have a big family. Some of them are trifling, like 2 or 3 of y'all family, okay? But guess what? They all know when they die, I'm not giving no money to the funeral. You understand that? Not a penny. I'll have a good policy now. I got to pay for it, I pay for it. But I'm not going to take the funeral. And I'm not going, I'm going to drive my Mercedes or my Bentley or my Jaguar, my Porsche to the funeral. I'm going to be clean to Board of Health. I'm going to be crying. Hopefully you say. But when the pastor and the funeral over there say, is anybody got any money? I'm going to say, just like this right here, just as smiling as I want to be. Because I've already told them that I'm not paying this. Now, any one person put that trump card on, that's my mama. She done that twice. When she called, I got to get her money up. You understand that? Lord Jesus, I hope she will stay with us a long time. She's 81 years old. But anybody else, the answer is no. Okay, I'm not giving money. And so we talk about it because, hey, let's pay for it. Because even if you got a little bit of something, it's worth it. Does that make sense? The 4 major problems in America: when you earn money, they tax it. When you spend money, they what? Tax it. When you save money, they what? And when you die, they what? When you give to a church or not-for-profit, something I love these organizations. My brother's a part of the organization, Motorcycle Club. In fact, they had some comrades that they talked about the other day, and they do fundraisers for the community to give money away. And I think that's a way to go to bring people together. Okay, and it doesn't matter how much it is. It's the idea that you're doing it, and whatever the recipient receives is more what they have. Okay, everything big starts small. So a lot of times, I ain't doing the same that much. Well, that's crazy, okay? Because everything big starts small. So what we want to be able to do is, that person, let's go a little fast. Okay? Inflation will eat up your money. We want to show you how to take advantage of the 7702. what would Rockefeller do and how that works, how that plays into your equation, so that you can pass wealth to the next generation. Okay? Passing wealth to the next generation. It's critically important. We show you how to take advantage of that. And the whole idea is to accumulate as much cash, as much assets, and be able to have tax-free distribution, use that money, and pass that money to the next generation. Tax-free is good. Does that make sense? I just paid a whole lot of money with taxes. Okay? Praise the Lord. Can't get out of it. Okay? I don't want to give a penny more than I should. Okay? But I can't get under almost 200 grand that I paid them to keep. Okay? Look at this for a second. In 2021, there were approximately 1,440 motorcycle accidents in Georgia. Over 2,700 injuries, 150 fatalities. I know that's near you all, this is what y'all do. Okay? And it's an accident. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't intentional. He just jumped me a minute ago. He said, man, they do good, they do better motorcycle. I wound up on the wrong side of the road at 16 years old on a college socket 440 LTD. I was riding through the neighborhood, and then I went out the neighborhood, I got confident, and I went through this little curb called Arcadia Lakes. And when you go on that curb at Arcadia Lakes, when you come around that curb, you can't see. But because I didn't know what I was doing on my motorcycle, right, I wound up on the wrong side of the road. There was not a car coming, okay? But I could only imagine if the car had been coming because I was doing about 40 miles an hour on the curb. I was going too fast, but I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't have a license, right? I promised the Lord that I never have a desire to get a motorcycle. Now, I made some other promises to the Lord, but that one I kept. You understand? He's going to the grave now. So I have a great appreciation. I have friends that have been riding for 20 and 25 and 30 years, and they're good stewards of it, and they do it the right kind of way. Okay? But I've also had some people that have gotten killed, that have been on crotch rockets and doing crazy things and get hurt real bad. But maturity takes its place. But look at this. 5,636 motorcycle fatalities in 2021. Motorcycle fatalities have increased 27 over the last decade. 77 motor accidents occur in the intersections. Okay? That's real. Okay? So one of the things that's important to me is that if there's an accident, leave some love. Okay? If that's that's the bottom. Okay? Hopefully you leave it whether it's accident or natural causes. But if there's an accident, I think Jim was explaining to me what happens when you're coming up and there's something in front of you, or an animal coming or a car coming, and what you're supposed to do, what your body naturally does. Okay? But my body naturally gonna try to swerve. Guess what's gonna happen? I'm all messed up. Okay? He said you're supposed to go behind me, whatever. He was explaining to me. I was listening to him, but I didn't understand. And I ain't never in that situation. You understand that? Okay? Because I don't do that. But I know that you have more experience, you know how to handle things better. Okay? Some people get these expensive motors on these motorcycles, and they're not quite ready. Okay? And they have accidents. Okay? And with the deer, she was acting for the deer and you. Okay? But I found out what to do. The deer come. Just bear down on it. Okay? Try to stop, but bear down on it. Okay? Don't swerve. But that's just statistical information. And I told you this because I want you to go to bed tonight thinking, if I don't have this program, if this happened to me, what am I going to leave to my children or to my spouse? Because this is real. Today's gift is called present. Tomorrow's not promised. It is. Okay, does that make sense? My Bible says no man knows the day or the hour. Okay. And so because of that, we have to prepare. Okay? And so when that cart stops, for whatever reason, you need to have a contract that says this person or this family member gets this much money. Now if they're young, a pool of the money was so far. So you leave with instructions through trust. Okay? Because people can be wild. Okay? And you got son-in-laws or daughter-in-laws, and they might not be quite straight. You leave it per stirpings, which means they can't get nothing. They go to the bloodline. Okay? That's all part of trust. It's simply just right. I'm just telling you the truth. God works. You understand that? So what we want to do is we want to show you how if accidental death were to occur, $25, $30, $35, or $40,000 for accidental death. If it's due to automobile accident, 50, 60, 70, and 80. Now, a lot of times in a motorcycle, when there's an accident, sometimes that happens because of a car. Does that make sense? So now you've got accidental death but it was because of an accident, so now it goes $50, $60, $70, $80,000. Due to a common, death due to common carrier, boat, train, plane, bus, whatever, $120,000, $140,000, $160,000. Due to an act of war or terrorism, okay? Somebody shoots you, okay? I know a lot of y'all ride bikes, okay? I know y'all pack, okay? Y'all crazy game pack, okay? You got 3, 4, 5 minutes in the pocket, okay? But no, you gotta be very cautious. You gotta be safe, not cautious. Not just cash or carry. You gotta be safe. You gotta pay. Does that make sense? And so from that standpoint, if you're away from home, y'all travel sometimes out of state, right? Well, when you transfer the mortal remains up to $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 to get you back where you're supposed to be, okay? And then of course, these benefits total, if the insured dies, $292,000, $350,000, $409,000, $468,000. All of these things is just the bottom from $15 to $20 a month, okay? You get these benefits. Now that's just the floor, okay? We want everybody covered. This is the best accident program in the country, period, bar none. Our company we represent is the largest final expense company in the world, okay? You're looking at an organization in that company, we're number 5 in the nation. As far as the organization, about 450 agents work with our firm from New Jersey down to Georgia. And I'm looking for another 450 yesterday, okay? Because the market is so big that people are dying that never died before. And this is the market that's underserved. Does that make sense? So that's the basis for everybody. Now, beyond that, maybe you want to customize final expense program, and we'll help you with that. Because I don't want your checkbook of your spouse or your loved one or your partner going to the funeral home, okay, in a position to where they're emotional and they're going to buy a $25,000 film, okay? Because that's what funeral home directors do. Yes, sir.
So are we talking about term or just ideas?
No, right now we're talking about accident, and whole life. Okay, that's it. That's final expense. If you buy anything for death purposes, and it's not a whole life policy, it's probably not going to pay out when you die. Term insurance goes for 10, 20, 30 years, okay? And then you expire beyond the term. 97% of the time, term insurance does not pay out. But you need to get some if you got all those things on that balloon. Does that make sense? But as you get older, you need to really convert that. The IUL policy, which is Index Universal Life Insurance. The problem with that policy is it has a term rider, and term goes up every year. So 80% of the time, that policy never pays out. Okay? But the illustration that you get is not indicative of what changes within the economy. So you got to look at it real close. Variable universal life insurance is when you put the investments in the insurance together, and that's a whole nother level of protection that you need for that particular policy. And that's when you get into the DO banking, okay? And I can show you how to do that. I have that myself, okay? I bought my first Bentley, okay, with my own banking money, from my own insurance policy. I borrowed from my insurance policy, and I lend that money to my corporation, okay, at the rates of whatever the rates were from the bank, because I was getting from the bank. And then now my company owes personally, my company owes me personally, that money back. The Bentley's over 6,000 pounds, so I get to write off the entire amount. You understand how it works? About my dad, before he died, I sent him around on the truck. I was going to give him a Ford, because it's better deal with a Ford. And he was on the back porch talking to my wife. He said, you don't get me a truck. He didn't need a truck. He didn't need me to buy a truck. You understand that? But it was my blessing to be able to be honored to do that. Something more. And so when I get the Chevrolet truck, brand new truck, he had already put in his trust that he wanted his oldest grandson at that time, that undergraduate was still in there, Cartersville, to get that truck. So he gave it to him early and he gave him a truck. Same thing with the truck. I borrowed the money for myself, okay, then to my corporation bought the truck. Truck's only 6,000 pounds. I get to write off the whole thing. Does that make sense? Now that's just good business. And then I'll pay my company back. Does that make sense? Now I don't care when I need the money, but this is my son and that's my brother. They're gonna be running this company at some point in time. He's younger than me, and he's much younger than I am. Guess what? I'll make them pay my money back to the company. I gotta know, I need my money. Then there's traditional whole life insurance. And whole life insurance is the type of insurance that you're guaranteed to get a payout on. Whole life insurance allows you to build cash value. It's a way to transfer your wealth. It pays out 170 times. Remember, term insurance pays out 37 times. Universal life, and then it's universal life, pays out 87 times. Variable universal life pays out about 95% of the time because people are overfunded. Okay, I put over $100,000 a year in my insurance program. Okay, just life insurance, not counting the car insurance, right? Because I understand how the system works. Because I was taught it's an investment. That same amount of work, you don't have to do that dollar amount. Does that make sense? I own a financial planning firm out of Atlanta, Georgia, and Scottsdale, Arizona. My partner is Ruben Lewis. He's the president. We deal with real high net worth individuals. Maybe 1 or 2 clients a year. But you gotta have $10 million net worth, and we do it. I got a client down in New Orleans, the spotted cat over there, on French Street, and across the street down this line. We do this same thing. We go across the $20 million. I do 1 or 2 of those deals. So my firm handles that. I don't do that. My focus is to find the next person I can help develop about this industry, about this business, and then the people that do the marketing, deal with them, and help them take care of folks, and then we'll do some other things. Okay? This is the deal. We cover cancer, diabetes, stroke, heart attack, heart surgery, heart failure, sickle cell, COPD, emphysema, asthma, kidney, Alzheimer's, ALS, no health exam, supply 24-hour family support. We cover everybody. Okay? Because we do that's final expense. Traditional insurance, you gotta be in good health. Okay? So if you have a cousin, an uncle, aunt, grandma, we can cover all those people. It's no problem. Okay? And we pay within 24 hours of the death. Now that's a big deal. Okay? And once you have a program with us, you don't even need a death certificate. You have it for 2 years. Okay? We don't need death certificate. We don't put 80% of the money in your account until you call that day. Okay? Funeral homes love us. But the Funeral Consumer Guard Society program, we're the only ones in the country have that. We help price shop your funeral so that you can get the best possible price for the funeral. Now, you might say, well, man, $54,000 don't mean nothing to me. You're probably right. But our market is people 50 to 85, they make $15,000 to $75,000 in income, and they're on fixed income. When one of those husband and wives die, the Social Security check stops, okay? If you're in the military and you get a check, and you die before the first, when that check comes, send it back. It ain't yours. Okay? You understand? And if you don't send it, they'll come get it. Does that make sense? Social Security check works the same way. Okay? So they'll life support, they'll go past the first and the check. Okay? It's a good joke. Okay? At the end of the day, we cover everybody. Okay? And we save them money on the funeral. So if they say $3,000-$4,000, and that Social Security check is $900 a month for the spouse, that gives them 2 or 3 months to make an adjustment. It does not solve all the problems, I'm telling you. But it makes it for a softer land. We see more fights, more people upset about funerals than anything else. Because there's no plan what mom and dad said they wouldn't have.
Can we buy a policy for somebody else?
Yes, you can. As long as you have insurance in them, but don't kill them.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something. Y'all know the gypsies. Y'all heard the gypsies, right? If you go down to Augusta, Georgia, Aiken, South Carolina, there's a whole community of gypsies. Okay? I mean, they got the mobile house right here, and they got a mansion next house. They got a mansion next door. What's all them named, friends? All them named the same name. Yeah. They one of the biggest scams in the world, okay? They're gypsies, okay? But let me tell you what they use. Life insurance. And they cover as much as they can when they're one of the elders in the family. They got incest, they marry each other, cousins and everything. They marry them at 14, 15 years old, but they get all big houses, okay? And you can't never find the title to the house if they all got the same name. It's a mess. Go to motorcycle ride. Augusta, Google gypsies, and drive through there. It's gonna blow your mind. They're like some of the people out there.
Fall on the window. That's how they do. They do fall on the window.
That's right, fall on the window. And we have some of his clients. I remember we tried to get one covered, and he had 5 policies on it. And everybody wanted to get policies on it, right? Okay? And so they buy the policy. They pay $200-300 premium, but they know, guess what? You up next for death. I don't think they killed each other, but they criminals now. My niece is a federal probation officer. She said, Uncle Dale, she said, I ride down, and she said, it's so funny. He said, because they know they're criminals, they ain't mad about it. Okay? So essentially, if something were to happen to you, okay, if you receive a heart attack, a stroke, cancer, if you're diagnosed with any of these things, in the Southeast, there's what's called right to work state. Now, the military veterans, they're going to get a check, sunshine, okay? And so this is in addition to the qualified. But a lot of people working a job, your workman's comp, you see all the commercials about attorneys and workman's comp, right? You cover basic insurance, they want you to go see their doctors. A lot of people have to go back to work hurt, okay? When you go back to work hurt, if you can't perform the job, next thing they do is they fire you. That's how it works, okay? And when they fire you, nothing you do because you went back hurt. When you financially stable, my brother was hurt in International Paper, now they're a different company. He was hurt on the job, okay? Some kind of, wasn't much hurt to him, okay? But he was hurt, and they kept trying to get him. Did he ever go back to work? He never went back, okay? Because why? He didn't need their money. But he went back, they got hurt again, and some of them lost their careers, okay? So this allows you, if you're diagnosed with any of these things, to get a tax-free check for critical illness long-term care is the next level of benefits is available. If you're interested, we'll show you how to do that. And then, of course, I think that's all, right?
That's us.
And so, essentially, that's what we have. We pass the card out, and on that card, there's a brochure. The other side of the brochure, I wanted to have that. Other side of the brochure, this is the brochure that says, see it on TV, come see our television commercial, on the internet, and you take one and pass it down. But this is the program that we offer. You can get up to $20,000 in final expense coverage. But what we're talking about here is just getting the accident program and $1,000 worth of benefits, because this will get you there. Even if you have $1,000, okay, every funeral home will tell you, hey, we'll pick somebody up, we'll help your business. So when you call a funeral home, the money turns on that day, okay? And so we want to make sure that people have it. You all in a profession where you can tell people, hey, look, man, get your program. Now, if nobody can tell you they don't have $15, they got a $20 whole time. I mean, they're serious. But they will tell me, I'm being facetious a little bit. But, I mean, you can't write a check for $200. Take the bike back to the dealership and tell them thank you, okay? Now, that's just the floor. The next part of that is, how do we get into really having some good friends? How do we get into living trust? You know, and is it what we need to have a living trust? You know, those are the conversations. The attorneys can't talk to you about it because most attorneys, 3 years of law school, they have 3 hours of estate planning, 3 hours. Okay? So they don't know enough about it. When I read, this was 25 years ago, when Young Collins and Plot, very successful attorney for real estate planning, I went to them and told them I was all excited, I learned all this information, and I'm working from the bottom up. In other words, I'm working middle class up. Does that make sense? Okay. And I say middle class, really doesn't get rich and poor. But I'm talking about people that have at least $125,000 combined income, and they have $25,000 worth of investable assets. That's my finance. We did seminars for them and above. So I went to the attorney firm, I said, man, I want you to work on it. He said, yeah. So let me tell you something. He said, you do a good thing for your community. I'm very proud of you. But we can't work with you, we can't help you. Now, at that time, the trust was costing $29.95, no, $21.95. Now they're $35.95, right? And I said, why? I said, we want to help our clients. He said, Dale, I charge 1% of their estate. He said, and I don't deal with nobody that has less than $5 million estate. Because when I do a trust, I get $50,000. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do anything with you or help any of your clients. You keep helping the way you help. I went to the black firm, the most prominent one at that time in our community. His son was just coming out of law school. The firm is Johnson Tolman T. World famous. On 2 funeral homes, very rich. And I asked Stephen Johnson, who's the owner of that firm, and I said, Mr. Johnson, I said, I want to trust you. It's a good thing. I said, man, I'm security license, got all this stuff. I said, can we work with you? He said, George my son just finished law school. Okay? He said, y'all go over there in the conference room and you and George figure out how we can do this thing. He said, because we really don't deal with them. We do the will, we deal with them after they die. I said, well, Mr. Johnson, you making money after they die to go before they figure out. He said, look, Dan got that anyway. This is a black successful term. Talking about our community. He's telling the truth. He wouldn't say this on news, okay? He said, they don't have nothing anymore. Now, we can't come up like that. So I go in there and talk to George. And you know where that went, right? Okay. George is rich. He out of law school. He's a lawyer. And at that time, he wasn't even doing much law work, okay? So we did everybody, okay? And so I'm just telling you, not to bash any attorney. They're not talking about trouble, okay? But it's not something that they do. But we do this. Take one of these past on the information. But I'd like to meet with you all individually or have Corey Fred meet with you. But I'll take any questions now, and then they'll try to get some stuff set up, and we'll come back over and over and over again and do whatever we need to do. Questions? Yes, sir.
Does your company do the living trust?
My company does live in trust through a local attorney. Okay? We've been.
He does it for us for
25. No, yes. let me say this. Now, he had a good point. Now. If you have a child and you have a piece of real estate, you have a trust.
Say again?
If you have a child and you have a piece of real estate, you need a trust. If you have some money, you don't have real estate, and you have a child, you need a trust. Because they need to get the right instruction. Great question. Any other questions?
I mean, on the accidental insurance, I know 2 years.
No, first day. No. She had a good point, okay? She said on accident insurance, normally we got it on TV. Okay. With the little print, with the big print deal, the little print takes away. So when y'all free to do that little print, that's what she's talking about. No, ours is first day. Okay? First day off.
Yeah, tell them about the difference between $5 with the $10. If I was drunk, I'd read that.
I got a question for you. What's the difference between a $5 off bill and a $10 off bill?
Say it again.
He said casket. He said, well, what's the difference between a $5 off bill and a $10 off bill? Nothing. There's no difference. Only difference
Hold on,
is
hold on.
good.
Here's the question. Why that's no different?
It's still there.
If you still there, then why? Why you can't tell at the funeral the difference between 5,000 and 12,000? So you go look at a funeral and see it. Why is it the same funeral?
Because they value your assets. They understand what's walking through their door.
It's the same because it's the same. Now why is it the same? The funeral's not the person going on the door. The funeral for the person who's pew. And every time they do a funeral, they have to have a award-winning performance.
So you
That's
see
why
this?
it's always the same.
It's a theatrical production. Y'all see it, right? All the cars claimed, really, the only difference is the price. And it comes down to the casket that they showed you, which you thought cost $4,000, $5,000. The same casket still costs $1,000. And by law, you have the right, federal law, there's a funeral consumer price list for every funeral home, and you can bring any merchandise you want into that funeral home. When you go to the casket room, you put that dull gray casket, okay? I'm not putting that in that, okay? I'm not putting around in that. You go with the mahogany casket, yeah, let me tell you what happened there. There's a thing, they come to South Carolina, Fort Jackson, his name is E.K. Palmer, very successful, early in the day, big funeral homes, we sold big time truck policy. He loved us because we got clients died, and he did a home run. And so he built a new facility. Now, he wasn't making money off me, his man was already rich, okay? And so we have been, he said, Brother Hawkins, come on in here and look at the casket room. Now, I'm in the casket room, right? I'm looking at the funeral home ready. Nothing wrong with me. Ain't nobody died. I'm just busy. Okay? And he gets over there, he said, look at this one here, it's nice. I walked with it right over there. He said, look over here. He said, come over here. He said, yeah, come over here. So I'm actually touching it. I said, Mr. Papa, these people dead. He said, now, if you emotional, you go for all that. Now he was just getting me, and we just having a conversation. I'm just, and I'm over touching with how confident he is.
Are you gonna be able to tell when you meet him?
So there's so much that goes into that. And I'm advocate, we need to get on with these stuff. We need to provide a service. But we don't need them to charge us $6,000 or $7,000 for what we do. They don't need it anyway. Okay? They love us, we pay them 24 hours, they know they're gonna get a fair price. My wife, they see my wife in the community, if you don't, I think your mother-in-law, right? No, your grandmother. Father-in-law and mother. They didn't have, they were too old to get the program. She's 85 already, you can't get it. But my wife went on behalf of Fred's wife. The funeral was how much?
Started out 12.5, got it for 6. The other one started out like 13, got it for 7.
And that's, so when the funeral home directors in Columbia see my wife coming, they just duck their head. Because all she's doing is coming to check, okay? We get the family and it's emotional, y'all get out the room. Let's talk business. And funeral home director, when they see her, they're like, okay, because guess what? My dad, beautiful homegoing celebration, okay? We love my dad, okay? The legacy, good, right? But guess what? They didn't have a military casket that was first class like the moment. And they were charging $4,000 on the casket, okay? So, I ordered the casket, okay, to be delivered to the funeral home. Shipped overnight, taken care of, $1,800, okay? The funeral home now uses that casket because it's the most beautiful one they sell. After they got it from dollar inflation, they sell that casket for $400. So let's not let us play our money, okay? And let's get things in place. So what I'd like to be able to do, if you all are available on a Tuesday or Wednesday on the card, Fred, I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, when you
I'm here, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're in this area, okay? We'll take appointments. Once he does the basic program with you all, if there's other things that you need beyond the scope of work, he knows how all of it works, okay? He just doesn't do it all. Does that make sense? I know how all of it works. I do portions of it that I want to, the other portions I don't, okay? And we will service you in a major way and provide benefits for you and anybody else in your family. But you can't come up with it. Any other questions?
So regardless if they've been paying into the accident insurance for 2 years or less, a year, you only play.
Let me be clear.
Okay.
Divide today.
Okay.
Right now, okay? On this computer application. If you leave here, you still accident. You get a traditional coverage, you leave in the day, you die today. Now, remember, two things. The insurance companies get rich by collecting premiums and trying not to pay. So your question is valid, what you're saying. But when you start dealing with final expense, it's a whole different ballgame. Because we're covering people that's gonna die. That's what we do for our feelings. Okay? It's a different ballgame. Some of those people have accidents. Now, you didn't see up there, but this dismemberment money. A lot of people with diabetes. Let's say I got diabetes, and I scrape my hand on some of this rust, right? It's hard to heal. Okay? If you don't heal quick enough, I can get gangrene and die. So the doctor says, okay, we got to cut that off. Okay? Because once they cut it off, the rest will be good, right? It happens so often. Toes, whatever. Well, that came because of the accident of you scraping your hand across something. Okay? We pay out on that. Now the problem is, if you don't tell the doctor that you got insurance policy, then it never gets sold. But I've had 3 clients that's happened for you to have diabetes. And they had to have application. Their policy was only like $10,000, but this dismemberment was like $15,000. And then they still get the other $10,000. So that's good. Yes, sir. It does, okay, great question. We're not in the replacement business. Okay? So if you already have a final expense, we can add on to that. Okay? If you already have insurance, even better because you qualify to do the final expense. If you don't already have life insurance and you do a final expense, we're gonna try to get you to get the right kind of life insurance. And we do free insurance review service, okay? Which means we'll review your insurance, make sure that you know how it works. A lot of times people are not in the insurance business for life. They come in for a year, 2 or 3 or 4, and they're not here for a long period of time, okay? This is our career, this is what we do. To include investing money, showing you about different ways to accumulate some cash. But let me tell you something. You get rich little by little. Okay? And it looks like you're going slow. Okay? If you want a way to make money overnight, tell me how much money you can lose overnight. And I'll point you that direction. Does that make sense? It doesn't work. Okay? It happens little by little over time. It doesn't. Any other questions?
I got a question.
Oh, how much is the book?
That's free for me, I know. That's the hustle, man. No, but it's worth it.
Is this something you all would take back to your government?
I'm gonna buy something.
Good question. He asked the question, okay. Can you get life insurance with someone locked up? Okay. The answer to that is no. Okay. But before they go, you can cover, and then they get out, you cover. Most companies won't cover them even if they're on probation. Okay. They'll ask to get off. We could. Now, when they're on the way to jail, we got it. Now, when they get in jail, we can't get it. Okay. The day they step foot out of jail, we got it. Okay. We can't cover them in the hospital. Okay. We can cover them on the way to the hospital. Does that make sense? We can cover them the day they get out of the hospital. Yeah. That's a great question.
I want people why you can't come in.
Because they probably gonna be killed. And maybe not even from nobody that's outside the family. You in jail got $300 coverage on you.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't getting out for a while. Hey, Bobo. You're gonna have cafeteria from now on.
That makes sense, okay.
No, they have to be out. They can't be in. That's a great question. Any other questions?
So you're saying it's suspended certain like get it for somebody, and then they go to jail?
Oh, it don't matter.
Oh, okay.
It don't matter.
So as long as I get it before they went, and then they go to jail, they still cover even if they get killed in jail?
Yeah, if you got it before they go.
Just saying.
No, yeah, you can kill them, yeah. Act the war carry, it doesn't matter, it's still paid. Now, one other thing I'm gonna say, we're looking for people. They're looking for people, okay? We teach, we train, we develop, we support people to be involved in this business. And they come from all different walks of life. This is our 2022 ring ceremony. We're representing people from all different walks of life. Agents and managers work with our firm earn from $100,000 to $1 million+ a year. We teach, train, and coach them. They come in 20 per year. Okay. I think you saw the notification.